Let's watch Three Kingdoms, man. Let's watch Three Kingdoms. Let's check out... Oh, he was sponsored by Three Kingdoms, that's why. Let's check out Three Kingdoms. My experience with Three Kingdoms is a big one, actually. And that is because, as a child, I was a complete lover boy of Dynasty Warriors, man. Every weekend I had to go to the garden with my parents, and I was super annoyed. I don't want to chill in the garden. There's no internet there. Fucking hell, man. I just want to stay home. But they took me, and I could always take my PlayStation 2 with us. And I got a game one day called Dynasty Warriors 4, and that game carried me for so many weeks, man. And I learned a lot from the Three Kingdom area. Wu, Shu, and Wei, Liu Bei, Cao Cao, and Sun Quan were fighting for China or some shit. Well, I don't know actually that much. I know a lot of these characters, man. I can name 20 characters of that time period right now. Easy peasy, man. But let's check it out.
Possible by Total War Three Kingdoms, the brand new strategy game from the multi-award winning Total War series.
Three Kingdoms wasn't that bad. Three Kingdoms? First of all, you have to realize, Three Kingdoms was a try of Sega to get to the Chinese market, to the Asian market. It alienated Western customers a bit, which is fine. Like, I, as a white guy, I didn't feel so connected with the Asian generals and stuff, which is fine. But my problem with Three Kingdoms is, and was, it doesn't do anything new. I'm used to Warhammer. There's heroes, there's magic, different cultures, different gameplay, the skill trees, the fucking map. And then you go to Three Kingdoms and it looks like a step back. Yes, you have heroes, but they all have the same skill tree. They're basic humans. There's no magic. The whole map is the same. I mean, it's China, you know. You have swordmen, pikemen, archers, and cavalry. That's it, right? You do your basic tactics. I felt like Three Kingdoms was a step back for me. Warhammer has so much more content, in my opinion.
Using
so much going on there.
Description down below to buy the game on Steam. Also, new merch available now in the store, including a mystery new character pin. I wonder who it could be. Ancient China. The sun is shining,
BC, man. Jesus.
The birds are singing, the children are playing in the village square. What a wonderful time to be alive! Hey, the Yellow River flooded again and destroyed all your crops. And also we're being raided by nomadic tribes. And also this period of Chinese history may be entirely mythical, meaning you may not even exist. Well, that would certainly explain the laser
Thank you. Play Shogun 2. Let me check my watch real quick. Play Shogun 2. Wait, it says right here it's 2020. Man, crazy. Maybe you should get a new phone.
Chinese civilization began around the year 2000 BC when the possibly mythical Xia Dynasty was formed.
Very interesting. As a European, I know nothing about...
usually rise up with a powerful leader.
Like, I don't know so much about... I mean, I don't know anything, but I don't know much about Chinese history and shit.
Who worked for the good of the people. But over time, the leaders would become more corrupt and self-serving. Someone would inevitably build a lake of alcohol, and the angry populace would overthrow them, giving way for a new dynasty to rise. Following this pattern, the Xia Dynasty was replaced by the Shang, who liked bronze and writing, but then the leaders got corrupt, and were replaced by the Zhou, who liked iron and philosophy. But
when I see stuff like this, I remember right now in the year 1000 BC, it must have happened, right? Do you think Greeks and all these Mesopotamian cultures met these guys? They did, right? They had to be like wanderers or something, but or traders, but it must have taken forever to reach them. No. The Romans did. The Greeks reached India. Like, my question is, in the year 1046 before Christ, if I'm a random Greek motherfucker, I'm kind of educated, but I'm just a normal guy. I'm like I write books. Do I know that there's people in the East and they look different than me? No? Yes, no, yes, no, yo, no, and yes. That shows so much how no one knows what the fucking truth is. So interesting. It's just speculation. That's so interesting. Alexander is in 500 years, man. Isn't he? He's like 480 or something? I don't think.
But that one sort of just fell apart and was replaced by the Qin, who liked building walls and people made out of rock. But they were pretty tyrannical from the start.
Army is the biggest scam in the world. You know, you guys know the Terracotta Army. I've seen the Terracotta Army. It's the most boring shit ever. They only show you like 1% of it. It's super boring. Never ever visit China for the Terracotta Army. It's the biggest scam ever.
Han, who liked creating new trade routes.
Thank you, every Matt Frog, man. Thank you very much.
In line with this pattern, the Han Dynasty came about under the strong and popular leadership of Emperor Gaozu. The dynasty remained firmly in place for over 4 centuries and was considered a golden age in Chinese history, developing new forms of art, political thinking, technology. Oh, looks like all the leaders got corrupt. See, probably the biggest problem in ancient China's political system that allowed so much corruption to come about all the time was a little something called court culture. Let me explain. Imagine for me, if you will, that you are the son of the Chinese emperor. Hooray! Now, apart from how weird it is that you have a ton of stepmoms and many of them would like to kill you, and also all of your friends are middle-aged dudes with no dongs, life's pretty alright. One day, your father says, "Son, I know our relationship hasn't been the best, and I've never said this before, but I just want to let you know that I love you." Oh no, I'm having a heart attack! Look at you. Now you're the emperor. I'm so proud of you. But wait, you are but a child and have no idea how to rule over a massive empire. Fret not, because just about everyone in your court wants to help you out with that. Hey man,
and then
remember
they influence. That's the fucking issue with monarchy. A little off topic. Would you be willing to watch a Pearl Harbor documentary on December 7th? It will be what? There's a guy just coming in here. Do you want to watch a Pearl Harbor documentary on December 7th? It's a minute-by-minute, 5-hour documentary on how Japan. Thank you for the offer, but no. I want to play World of Warcraft.
For me,
I'm not going to watch a 5-hour documentary on
I heard you
stream.
needed someone to rule over China for you.
If you will sub, maybe
to
next
help you
time.
rule China. So hey, here's a popsicle. I hope we can get along. No way, man. We've been your friends and your personal caretakers your whole life. And even though we may have no dongs, I think you should give us all the power to rule China. I mean, help you rule China. So who will you be influenced by? Your scheming uncle or your loyal eunuchs? And towards the end of the Han Dynasty, a string of child emperors allowed more and more power to fall into the hands of the eunuchs. Oh no, now they're scheming too. They began handing out government jobs for bribes, heavily taxing the poor.
He asked nicely, bro. A guy on the street comes to you.
Hey mate, how you doing, huh? Hey, you wanna watch a 5-hour Pearl Harbor documentary? It's tomorrow, 2 p.m. You can be there?
Even if he asked nicely, it's still fucking weird, okay? I didn't shit on him.
For their
Be
own
glad
wealth.
he asked.
And while
I'm
you're
so
sitting
glad.
there eating your
I'm so
popsicle,
happy, man.
Everyone in your court is
Thank
literally
you.
murdering each other to try and consolidate more power and riches for themselves.
Thing
All
is,
the
though, that
peasants
fucking 5-hour documentary will probably get more viewers than World of Warcraft, man. And that's the sad thing. God damn.
are outside like, "Hey, did you guys know there's been a drought out here for 2 years?" Guys? Obviously, the people weren't too happy that while they were struggling to survive, they were also being heavily taxed so that
always the
unit factions
peasants
could all
getting
have
fucked,
rockin'
man.
mansions, complete with swimming pools and Alexas. So finally, when a self-proclaimed Taoist wizard came along and was like, "You know whose fault it is that we're all out here starving? It's the Emperor and his
Sangue.
posse. They've lost their mandate from heaven, and the Imperial family must be destroyed with an unrelenting, furious wrath." Also, check this out. Huh? Can you tell what it is yet? Ta-da! It's a little
shit.
kitty
I
cat.
thought it's gonna be giraffe.
Look at her little ears. The people loved his political philosophy. He promised them land reforms, and his followers grew in number. They began arming themselves
Is it
and
the yellow
wearing yellow
turbans?
turbans. And they also
Oh, it's the yellow turbans! I didn't know! The first mission of every Dynasty Warriors is the yellow turban uprising. Ah! After all these years, now I know.
developed a really catchy slogan.
Did one guy have the French fucking West?
Year one. The Yellow Turban Rebellion broke out across China, with millions rising up against the Han Dynasty, and the imperial government in the capital city freaked out. With all their internal bickering, they were completely unprepared and unable to deal with such a huge rebellion. So they were forced to call on independent warlords from across the empire to help them
The
deal with the
warlords,
situation.
man, that's
Some
Dynasty
big
Warriors,
names took
bro.
part in the fighting. I'm talking the likes of the great Cao Cao, the tyrannical
Cao Cao.
Dong Zhou, Liu Bei, Sun Jian, and many, many other Chinese names I am definitely not pronouncing correctly.
Who's the greatest character of this period? It is, what is his name? Fucking Gao Yun? What's his name? The God of War? Cao Cao, you guys are fucking normies. Lubu, yeah. Guan Yu. Dude, when I was in China, they still pray to him. The military has statues of Guan Yu everywhere. He's the God of War, and they still pray to him and shit, man.
These warlords crushed the rebellion in
Guan
their
Yu wasn't anything yet. They literally just said Liu Bei, and Guan Yu was literally his older brother.
own respective regions.
wrong,
And with
Dumba.
casualties in
That
the
on you
millions,
historically.
the Han Dynasty breathed a huge sigh
I actually have
of
no
relief.
idea, I'm just
But what
talking
they
shit.
didn't realize is that by relying on all the warlords,
He wasn't around yet. Okay, Doombot, let's take a look here. Let's take a look. You wanna talk shit? 220, and we're right now in the year. Bro, you just got dabbed on.
and
Doombot.
their armies, they had essentially
Oh, you just
diminished
got
their
dabbed
own
on.
central control over the empire. And many of the warlords now held the power to act almost completely independently and rule over their own local regions themselves. Back in the capital,
This makes
the
me wanna
emperor
play
and
that
his son were
Warriors.
having a little chat. Listen, I know we've had our ups and downs, and I spend all of my time with your many, many smoking hot stepmoms instead of you. But what say you and I finally go on a little fishing trip together this weekend? Oh no, I'm having a stroke! And yet another child emperor was on the throne.
Oh god.
This time, however, instead of the eunuch faction gaining even more power, this child emperor's uncle became his regent, who also just so happened to be the head of the imperial army, He Jin. Man, I hate
These are like the
those
main enemies
sneaky,
in Total
lying,
War for
cheating
Kingdoms. They're like
eunuchs.
the
Hey Warlord
basic
Yuan Shao,
puppets.
what should we do?
Yuan Shao always killed me in Free Kingdoms. No, wait, I played him. No, he killed me. Yuan Shao killed me in the northeast, I remember.
Right on. You can't kill the eunuchs. They're a vital part of this empire's governance. And also, they paid me a lot of money to say that about them. Ah, come on! No. So He Jin and Yuan Shao decided the empress may need more convincing. And so they called in an infamous, feared, tyrannical, overweight warlord from the northwest to help...
That is... Man, what's his name? Fuck, this is the boss of Lubu. This is the boss of Lubu. His name, he's a fat guy. Something with a Z.
That man
Dong
was
Zhou.
Dong Zhou. And he set out for
That's
the
the boss of
capital city
Lubu.
with his army. Hey guys, I heard a rumor that He Jin was planning on killing us. Then why don't we kill him first? And so it was. They lured him to the palace with a forged letter from his sister, and when he got there,
So
they
much
lobbed off his
intrigue,
head.
man. Jesus. Oh shit.
Kill them all. Imperial forces stormed the palace, and the eunuchs were all massacred. The peasants, who were still suffering
Is that Adolf Hitler's dad? I think that's Adolf Hitler's dad. Alois.
from drought and starvation, saw what was going on, and
Alois
began to riot.
Schickehuber.
The emperor and his brother were forced to flee the city, which was now in flames, and the feared, nasty, tyrannical, bloated Dong Zhou had just arrived.
I've heard that some of you are still not subscribed, man! Was ist, man? After all these years of all this work? If you don't subscribe right now, I'm coming to you tonight. I know some of you are into that. Subscribe. Back to the video. Fucking watching you.
Nasty, tyrannical, bloated Dong Zhou had just arrived. He found the emperor and his brother wandering the hills outside of the city and was understandably confused. So he scooped up the emperor, went to the capital and was like, "Hey guys, what's up? I see the capital is on fire. Also, I'm here with my army and I have the emperor with me."
Where's Lubu?
Wait a minute, the capital is on fire, I'm here with my army, and I have the emperor. Screw you guys, I'm in charge. So
I
now
didn't know
Dong
he did
Zhou
that.
ruled over the Han Dynasty as the emperor's regent. His first act was to say to the emperor, "Hey man, no hard feelings, but I like your little brother better, so I'm actually making him emperor instead of you, so you're free to go do whatever you want." Actually,
Oh shit.
yeah. That feels better. Dong Zhou ruled with an iron fist, and he did whatever the flip he wanted. He made absolute decisions himself, showing no regard for the monarchy. He had his opponents or those who disagreed with him killed. He broke protocol, doing things like keeping his sword when approaching the emperor, wearing shoes in the court, sleeping in the emperor's bed,
Hey!
and worst of all, he would walk in the presence of the emperor. You were meant to trot. The other warlords around the empire hated him, and so they said, "Something needs to be done about this guy. What say we form a coalition and oust him?" And it was agreed. Warlords from across China, their armies amounting to 100,000 men, allied
Jesus
together
Christ,
against
man.
the tyranny
100,000 is a
of
lot in
Dong
this
Zhou.
time period,
Yuan
man.
Shao's coalition consisted of some of the nation's most capable leaders, including his
These battles must have been so fucking insane, dude. I always say this, I know it sounds weird, but I think you understand. I wish there would be like a device like in Assassin's Creed where you could go back in time as like a ghost who just observes stuff. You can't touch anything or anything, you just observe. And just being in the sky and observing 100,000 people fighting each other, that must be so insane. That must be mind-blowing, bro. That must be... What the fuck?
his half-brother, Yuan Shu,
Yeah,
the
it's
great
the
Cao
Drew
Cao
Durnal
in
device.
Sun
Yeah, that's what they're gonna
But
call
Dong
it.
Zhou, his protege, an adopted son, one of the most skilled and feared warriors in all of China. It's Lubu. This
Lubu was the son of Dong Zhou. I never knew that.
guy was a beast of a man. He never lost a duel, and no other warlord dared challenge him to one. He was also famous for betraying just about every warlord he ever fought for, something that Dong Zhou didn't seem too concerned about. The coalition attacked Dong Zhou in Luoyang, and in particular,
Battle
Sun
of the
Jian's forces
Hulao
inflicted
Gate,
a
I
heavy
remember.
defeat against him, and
Second
he was
mission
forced
in
to
Dynasty
flee to the
Warriors.
city of Chang'an. After this initial success,
And
however,
Lubu was
the war
unbeatable,
entered
man. He
into
could
a
never-
stalemate.
he was adopted
The warlords
son.
in the coalition
Adopted.
realized it was going nowhere, and
could
also they
never
all
beat that
secretly
guy in the
hated
game.
each other. So they all went home. Dong Zhou was safe until... Legend has it that a government official in Chang'an had a daughter who was hot, super hot. He invited Lubu to his home and promised Lubu that someday he could marry his daughter. Then, he invited Dong Zhou to his house and did the exact same thing. Dong Zhou was so smitten that he insisted on taking her as his concubine immediately. And when Lubu heard the news, he was pretty unhappy.
That was clever by the old man.
Aren't you worried that you stole Lubu's girl and betrayal is like his personal hobby? Lubu? Betray me? No way, man. Never gonna happen.
Oh.
Ah, crap. Lubu, along with other government officials, assassinated the tyrannical Dong Zhou. Then they left his body burning in the streets.
Jeez,
Some sources say he was so fat and oily, he kept on burning for days. Nice. So with Dong Zhou dead, and the power of the Han government essentially decimated, China was left with a huge power gap, and a ton of warlords who all slept soundly at night dreaming of being the one to fill it. Here we enter into a crazy and chaotic period of civil war all across China, with so many people, so much betrayal, so much intricacy, it makes Game of Thrones look like a Dr. Seuss publication. But just to give you an idea of how crazy and chaotic it was, see if you're able to keep up with this. Are you ready? Here we go. Here's a rough map of the warlords throughout the Han Dynasty.
Hill tribes. Who do I know? We know Yuan Shao. Oh, Cao Cao. Where's Liu Bei? Is Liu Bao Liu Bei? And where's the red faction? Like Sun Quan or some shit. Liu Bei was with Tao Xian. Ah, this guy's Liu Bei. Where's Jackie Chan?
At the time, half-brothers Yuan Shao and Yuan Shu were both in a power struggle for who would become the figurehead of their family. Yuan Shu made alliances with warlords in the north, along with Sun Jian, the guy who defeated Dong Zhou. Yuan Shao also made alliances with Liu Biao in the south and Cao Cao, who was an amazing strategist and general. All of these warlords began fighting each other. Cao Cao began building his own strength by subjugating nearby remnants of the Yellow Turban Rebellion into his own forces. Down south, things weren't going so well for Sun Jian.
I remember the first mission in Dynasty Warriors, which is my historical, where I got this from, they all still worked together, taking down the Yellow Turbans, and then they took Lubu, and then everything changed and they all fought each other.
He was killed in an ambush, so Sun Ce took over. Then
Sun Ce, he was the Tonfa guy. Dude, I gotta do some education here. Look at that. That is, look, the first picture is literally the Dynasty Warriors guy. Wait, no, he had Tonfas. That is Sun Ce, man. Dude, that guy was my childhood. That right here, Dynasty Warriors 4. Bro, that was a game, bro.
Yuan Shu got pushed back to the river Huai, so he ordered Sun Ce to take the territory of warlord Lu Kang. Then Sun Ce went off to capture territories in the east for himself. Cao Cao's family lived in this province over here. One day, they were murdered. Oh no, Cao Cao held the province's governor responsible, and so he launched a cruel invasion in which he pillaged cities and murdered over 100,000 civilians. The governor sent out a call for help, and a very popular, likable warlord by the name of Liu Bei came to his aid. However, while Cao Cao was away fighting, a rebellion was staged against him in his home province by none other than Lubu. Cao Cao rushed home and defeated Lubu, who fled to the east, which by now had been inherited by Liu Bei. Then Lubu, surprise surprise, launched a rebellion against Liu Bei, who fled to Cao Cao. Together, Cao Cao and Liu Bei would go on to invade and defeat Lubu.
Wait, no, they're together!
Lubu offered to join Cao Cao, and Cao Cao considered the offer. But his advisors were like, no way, man, this guy's betrayed literally everyone he ever worked for. And so boohoo, Lubu was executed. Next, Cao Cao convinced the emperor to move in with him. Now he's in control of the Han government, something that made his allies very jealous. Yuan Shu, out of nowhere, decides to declare himself emperor of the new Zhong dynasty. Nobody liked that. His allies cut ties with him. The imperial government ordered everyone to kill him. He tried to flee to his brother Yuan Shao, but died of illness on the way. Sun Ce took over his territory, and then got assassinated. So his brother, Sun Chen, took over. Liu Bei turned on Cao Cao, but got obliterated, and was forced to flee south. Yuan Shao finally defeated the warlord to his north, and could now focus south. He declared war on his ally Cao Cao, but was defeated at the Battle of Guandu. Cao Cao has now united the north, and he turned his attention to the south. In particular, Liu Biao's province was becoming a powerful threat, so Cao Cao attacked him. Liu Bei was now fighting for Liu Biao, and he held Cao Cao off for a while. But then Liu Biao died, and his son took over, and immediately surrendered to Cao Cao. Liu Bei was horrified, and he fled southward to try and maintain control of the province. Cao Cao was on an absolute roll, and it looked like he would be the one to take control of China. He began making plans to attack both Liu Bei and Sun Qian, and the two of them, seeing where things were headed, met up and decided to form an alliance. Now I know that was a lot to take in, but all you really need to know at this point is that this guy is on his way to taking over everything, and he's about to throw his full weight at the southern warlords. These two have one chance, one battle, to prevent him from invading the south. And that battle was the famous Battle of Red Cliffs. Dude. To take the south, Cao Cao would need to control and cross the mighty Yangtze River. Man. He had over 200,000 men to face against Liu Bei and Sun Qian.
We're in the year 200 before Christ. 200,000 men, dude. Are you kidding me? It took like 8 men to for the Vikings to fuck up England, bro.
Combined force of 50,000. How would they stand a chance when they were so outnumbered? Legend says most of Sun Qian's advisors pleaded with him to surrender, but then he
people.
smashed
How
up
do you
a
even
table
feed them,
and they
bro?
all backed down. Luckily, Cao Cao's forces were ravaged by disease and exhaustion, and his northern soldiers weren't too comfortable on ships. So when Cao Cao sailed down the river and the two sides met for an initial skirmish at Wulin, Cao Cao was unable to inflict a defeat against the allies. Then, one of Sun Qian's men came up with a very sneaky plan. He sent Cao Cao a letter, pretending that he and others wanted to defect to his side, and offered to bring him some of Liu Bei and Sun Qian's finest ships. Little did Cao Cao know, however, that those ships were full of flammable reeds. As they approached his fleet, they were set alight and destroyed his ships in camp. Seeing the situation as hopeless, Cao Cao ordered a difficult retreat through the rain and marshlands, during which more of his men fell to illness and disease. The underdogs had won, and Cao Cao would never again have another chance to take the south. Following that, the three warlords took some time to finish off some smaller competitors in their own region.
History
and
like
by the year 214, China looked a little bit like this. Cao Cao continued to try to penetrate the southern regions, but had no success, and even lost the Hanzhong region to Liu Bei in 217. The former allies eventually fell out over who should own this territory here, with Sun Qian coming out on top. In 220, Cao Cao died of a head disease, and was replaced by his son, Cao Pi. Cao Pi convinced the Emperor of Han to abdicate, and then proclaimed himself the Emperor of the new state of Wei. Liu Bei followed suit, declaring himself the true Emperor of Shu Han. And a few years later, Sun Qian joined in the fun and declared himself Emperor of Wu. And so now you have a number of kingdoms in China.
Man.
How many?
But this is real life, man. This is like a video game, right? The story is so like someone made it up, but this is real life. Real life writes the best stories, I'm telling you.
3. 3 kingdoms. Except, actually, they weren't kingdoms, they were dynasties. And when the 3 kingdoms finally formed, not a whole lot happened. For the next 3 decades, they continued to engage in combat, but it almost always ended in stalemate, and nobody really got anywhere. So how did it all end? Did Cao Cao's descendants eventually realize his dream of unifying China? Not quite. Instead, the 3 kingdoms became victims of the usual problems that plagued Chinese dynasties. In Wu, Sun Qian's descendant became a tyrant, who was more interested in spending time with his concubines than governing.
These guys are just fucking all day, no wonder they're all corrupt.
Eunuch
All day
faction
long,
rose up,
just
and
fucking
by now we all know how
boom,
that ends. And in Wei, a string of
Jeez.
young emperors gave way for a powerful family, the Sima clan, to take control of the dynasty's government. This Sima clan recognized the weak state Shu and Wu had been reduced to, and so they began making plans. I've just received this letter that says Wei is planning to attack us. Should we make preparations for war? Nah, it's probably nothing to worry about. Let's do absolutely nothing. Sounds good to me. Wei launched a full-scale invasion into Shu, which fell within a year. Then Sima Yan forced the Wei emperor to abdicate and proclaimed himself emperor of the new Jin dynasty. In the year 279, Jin launched an invasion of Wu and finally unified China in the year 280. The pattern of rising and falling dynasties, division and reunification would continue in China for centuries to come. Right now you may be asking yourself, but wait a minute, what would have happened if Cao Cao had his way and unified China? Or what if Lubu never assassinated Dong Zhou and he continued to rule over the Han Dynasty? What about if one of these smaller warlords had risen to the top? Dang it, what if I want to be a warlord during the downfall of the Han Dynasty?
Total War Free Kingdoms.
Calm down, because now
that was really interesting, man.
This video was brought to you by Total War 3 Kingdoms, a brand new strategy game that combines a gripping turn-based campaign of empire building, statecraft, and conquest, with stunning real-time battles.
Check it out? No.
Choose from a cast of legendary warlords and conquer the realm.
Unite boy, China, you totally lost all integrity in this channel. Everything you say, I never trust
and
you
build
anymore.
a legacy that will last through the ages. Recruit heroic characters to aid your cause and dominate your enemies on military, technological, political, and economic fronts. Will you build powerful friendships, form brotherly alliances, and earn the respect of your many foes? Or would you rather commit acts of treachery, inflict heart-wrenching betrayals, and become a master of grand political intrigue?
So I have this app, it's a World of Warcraft app, and this app tells me when I have a new mission. So I finished the mission here. I have to finish my mission really quick in World of Warcraft.
Awaits.
Oh wait, I fucked up? Oh, I died. Look, I died in the mission, man. Oh, man, shout out to Oversimplified. Please subscribe to him. Check his content out, man. Tommy is slowly becoming a reaction streamer. You guys love that. And it's very important we show respect to these creators, man. Show big love to Oversimplified, man. Check out his merch and all the other stuff. When you talk to people that saw this war, you see how much pain is in their eyes and how unnecessary this all was. As I said before, all these wars are always by crazy leaders, man. It's just the leaders.
She slipped in my fingers like sand. Heard that she had a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, shit's sail. She slipped through my fingers like sand. Further, she got a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad.